What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our college football channel. Rivalry week is here, and really on Rivalry week, isn't everyone on upset alert? I mean, you have to be. It happens all the times in these games. We're going to go through here, and I'm going to give you the 8 games that I think are most likely to be upsets. Again, where the spread is 4 points or more. And it seems like it's just been a quiet November. We have not had any major upsets. We've had some upsets, but nothing crazy, especially at the top. Will we see that this week? We'll see. I don't know that we do. I think, it may continue the path that we've been on, and we may even wind up with a no controversy top 4 at the end of this thing. But let's get into the upsets. Again, this is the least likely to the most likely, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that any of these are actually going to happen. I don't really think any of them are. Again, I don't know that we see the upsets this week, but normally we do. And again, that's kind of the trend with this video. We always see, or not always, but usually see 2 games. And that's kind of the average. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but usually it's at least 2. We'll start with Alabama-Auburn, the Iron Bowl, 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS. Alabama favored by 14.5 points. 10 years since the kick 6, and this will be the final Iron Bowl on CBS. A lot of memories, a lot of great games in this series. You look at the way Auburn played last week, and that's why I think most people are writing this game off, saying, well, this is going to be a blowout. Alabama wins easy. It doesn't matter. That game does not matter. It has no impact on this game. You could say maybe that game hurt Auburn's confidence a little bit, but you could also say, well, maybe Alabama's going to overlook them now, and they're looking ahead to Georgia. So that kind of works both ways. And again, that game, Auburn is what they are. Yeah, they played terrible last week. And they're not a great team. Let's just be honest here. But it's the Iron Bowl, and we've seen crazy things happen. A couple of years ago, Auburn was terrible, and TJ Finley was the quarterback in that game, and Auburn almost won and went to overtime. So there is a chance that we see an upset here. I don't really see it happening, but in the Iron Bowl, anything can happen, and that's really going to be the theme here for most of these games. You look at Oregon State, Oregon, same thing. Anything can happen. Oregon State has pulled off an upset many times in this rivalry. Good news for Oregon is they are playing at home. This game will be on Friday night, 8:30 Eastern Time on Fox. Oregon favored by 13.5. And we have a loaded schedule on Friday compared to most Friday after Thanksgivings. There are games, there are multiple games in all the time slots. I know there's been times on those Fridays where we don't even have a primetime game, or maybe we have one. But there's going to be a lot of great games, and I'm looking forward to Friday for sure, and really 2 full days of college football. Anyways, back to this game. Oregon State, it really doesn't feel like they have much of a chance in this game, but if it's close, Dan Lanning has, let's just be honest, he's choked many times already here at Oregon, including last year against Oregon State. I believe there was a play in that game where they went for it on 4th down. Did the same thing to Washington. You never know, and it's a rivalry. Oregon State, really not a lot to play for, but they can ruin Oregon's season, and they can send them out of the Pac-12 with a loss. And that gives a little bit of extra motivation to Oregon State because of Oregon leaving and all that, and basically blowing up the Pac-12. So this is one to watch for. We'll see. Oregon State's a good team. I don't know how big of a gap there really is between Oregon and Oregon State. We're going to find out on a Friday. Next, we've got Clemson, South Carolina, 7:30 Eastern Time on the SEC Network. Clemson favored by 7, going on the road here to face South Carolina. The season has gone a lot like I expected with South Carolina. I had them at 5-6 at this point, and I had them upsetting Clemson, but I didn't have Clemson at 7-4. They've been a little bit under my expectations. But yeah, South Carolina playing at home and trying to get to a bowl game. So motivation really on their side. Home field advantage on their side. Clemson's the better team, sure, but again, it's a rivalry. Anything can happen, and South Carolina absolutely has a chance to pull off a win in this one. Next, we've got Ole Miss, Mississippi State. It's the Egg Bowl, 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN on Thursday night on Thanksgiving. Ole Miss favored by only 10, and that tells a lot here. A 9-2 team against a 5-6 team. You wouldn't expect the spread to be 10 points, but that's the Egg Bowl for you. Anything can happen. Mississippi State, just like South Carolina, playing to get to a bowl game. This game is going to mean a lot to them. We'll see how they come out. Ole Miss has been, kind of inconsistent at times this year, so which Ole Miss team will show up? But really, it's just about the Egg Bowl. It's about the rivalry. It's a short week. Crazy things happen in this series, and with Mississippi State playing at home, and that's the theme in some of these. You see South Carolina at home. We saw Auburn at home. One of these will probably, at least one of these will probably wind up being an upset. We'll see which one it is. Texas Tech at Texas, 7:30 Eastern time. This one will be on Friday night. Again, another Friday night game. ABC, Texas favored by 12.5. Playing at home, Quinn Ewers is back. You feel pretty good about Texas winning this game, but Texas Tech, this is a huge game for them. And just like with Oregon State, they're wanting to send Texas out of the Big 12 with a loss. They're going to be really motivated. They're coming off of a big win. So this is or a couple of weeks ago had the big win. This is going to be a big game for them. Texas trying to stay in the playoff hunt. They need some help. They need to win out and maybe get a little bit of help. This is going to be pressure on Texas. How does that play into it? Rivalry game. Again, all of these games, I feel like I'm just repeating myself. It's the same thing here with rivalry games. Let's move on to Missouri, Arkansas, 4 o'clock Eastern time on CBS. Again, a Friday game. Missouri favored by 7.5. And again, that line, look at that line, 7.5 for a 9-2 team against a 4-7 team. Again, tells you about this rivalry. And the underdogs seem to win a lot in this rivalry. And Arkansas is playing at home. I know Missouri's been playing great football, but forget about all of that. I think this game will be close. I think Arkansas will have a chance. So definitely put the Tigers on upset alert. Then we've got Kentucky, Louisville at noon Eastern time on Saturday. Louisville favored by 7. This game will be on ABC. And look, Kentucky's really owned this series. They have dominated against Louisville. We're going to find out, is Kentucky just playing in a tougher conference? Is the SEC just tough? That's why they're 6-5. Louisville's had a very favorable record. Again, you see the spread there, 7 points. So Vegas thinks it'll be close. I think it'll be close. I think Louisville might get it done, though, finally playing at home. We'll see. That should be a good one, though, in that rivalry. Next, we got Florida State at Florida. This, in my opinion, is the most likely upset of the weekend. 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Florida State favored by 6.5. So you've got a lot of elements here. First of all, you've got home field advantage for Florida. You've got a desperate Florida team trying to get to a bowl game, although Florida State has even more to play for because they're trying to get to the college football playoff. Then you've also got the injury to Jordan Travis. How good will Tate Rodemaker do? For Florida, you've got a backup quarterback in there as well with Max Brown, but maybe you're not losing as much when losing Graham Mertz compared to Jordan Travis for Florida State. Just like Louisville, is Florida State just... Are they 11-0 because they play in the SEC or in the ACC? And is Florida, would they be 9-2 if they play in the ACC? I don't know how that will play out. But, yeah, there's a reason the spread's only 6.5. Florida, absolutely capable of pulling off an upset here in the Swamp. They almost beat Missouri last week. We've seen them at times look really good this year. Remember the Tennessee game? They've really been up and down. They've had a really tough schedule. But, again, a lot to play for Florida. A lot to play for Florida State. Rivalry game. I think it'll be a good one, but I do think if there is an upset, this is the most likely upset here. Florida taking down Florida State. Which upsets do you think will happen? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.